Also, actor Rakhi Sawant, in her recent social media post, has said that she will be contesting the upcoming Lok Sabha elections in 2024. This has come in as a response to veteran actor and Member of Parliament Hema Malini suggesting Sawant to contest in the polls. The actor has thanked Hema Malini for considering her. We're starting with this big breaking at noon. A CNN News 18 has been revealed PFI's plans to unleash violence days after there were mega raids that were conducted on the outfit. In fact, the violence in Kerala on Friday seems to have been a precursor, and the Popular Front of India is now planning more attacks in the country. In fact, these would be targeted attacks, particularly on the BJP RSS leaders and also officials of the government agencies. Also, sources within the intelligence agencies have revealed to us that the Popular Front of India plans lone wolf attacks against these identified targets. So this is the big breaking that we are putting out before you. PFI's further plans to actually take out and carry out targeted attacks in the country. This is something that has happened after the nationwide raids on members of the PFI. The Popular Front of India is now going to go ahead with further attacks, is what your channel has been told. In fact, we also
Good evening. Thanks a lot for staying with us here at CNN News 18. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Ridhima Bhatnagar. We're beginning with an address coming in by BJP President JP Nadda. Let's listen in.
18 crore, 180 million, 18 crore membership. No party in the world is as largest as Bharatiya Janata Party. Number one. Number two, in India, we are the only national party, ideological based party. None other parties are now ideological based. When we say we are ideologically consistent party, right from the days in 1951, when the seeds of Jansangh were sown, from that very time, the issues which we had taken, today we stand by it. May it be the abrogation of Article 370, may it be economic policy, may it be the consistency in the economic policy to be pro-poor, pro-farmer, pro-women, pro-youth. All these policies have been consistently pursued by the successive Bharatiya Janata Party government. We started from integral humanism. We went to Antodaya, and now under Prime Minister Modi ji's leadership, sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas, sabka prayas. The same way, we were of the opinion that we are a national party with a national aspiration, but at the same time, we respect the regional aspiration. It is a party which believes in unity in diversity. It is a party which believes in cooperative federalism. It is a party which says that yes, our national commitment is undeterred, is uncompromisable. The national commitment and the nationalism is uncompromisable. But at the same time, the aspirations of the regional people is also undertaken. We can say that we are a cadre-based party. When I say so, I know that the people who are sitting in front of me, they are from the booth presidents and they are the booth in charges. It is a cadre-based party. We know it's a structured party. But at the same time, it is a mass-based party. And when I say so that it is a mass-based party, and we have got a following, we have 302 member parliament in Lok Sabha. We have got 292 members of parliament in Rajya Sabha. We have got 1,398 MLAs. We have got 117 mayors and deputy mayors. And we have got thousands and thousands of Zilla Parishad members and Panchayat members. This is our following which we have to understand.
Well, that was BJP President JP Nadda addressing the BJP cadre there in Kerala. We're shifting our focus to the big story that we're tracking this evening, and this is the latest on the Rajasthan political drama, which actually is seeing no end. Sources are now telling CNN News 18 that Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is no longer in the race for the Congress president post, as the party's top leadership is now not very keen on him filing his nomination. As per sources telling CNN News 18, the observers Ajay Makhan and Mallikarjun Kharge recommended that Ashok Gehlot should not be considered for the top post, as they don't think he can really keep the party's flock together. Both Ajay Makhan and Mallikarjun Kharge, we're understanding, currently at 10 Janpath at Sonia Gandhi's residence. Earlier today, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot had a meeting with senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge. 76 MLAs from the Gehlot camp have reportedly submitted their resignation to the Speaker as a mark of protest over the possibility of the appointment of Sachin Pilot as the next Chief Minister. Sachin Pilot, on the other hand, is in touch with the Gandhis. Let me bring in my colleagues who've been tracking all these developments for us. My colleague and senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is joining us on the broadcast. And from 10 Janpath here in the national capital, Siddhant is also joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, let me come to you first. Isn't this now becoming a big embarrassment for the Congress party, not just optically in the backdrop of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, but also for what elections represent? The big update that you're bringing to our viewers is that Ashok Gehlot is no longer in the running for this top job. Why is that? Is that the rebellion which has costed Ashok Gehlot?
It's a trust factor. If you just follow the press conference which Rahul Gandhi held a few days back in Kochi, he had said specifically, and I quote him, that anyone who becomes a Congress president has also to put forward the ideology of the Congress party. It's not just a position of power, it's a position of responsibility, and party before an individual. That was a mantra. The irony is that I remember during the midst of the Punjab crisis, it was Ashok Gehlot who had actually given a soundbite publicly, actually telling Captain Amrinder Singh that he should put the party before himself. Today, the same point comes to be thrown at Ashok Gehlot by many of the critics within the Congress party and also the top leadership. Even as that meeting is going on with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, the report's contents is very well known. There are those 3 conditions which the MLAs put before the one-line resolution. The fact that there was a resignation which took place yesterday, that is completely unacceptable. What is also unacceptable is that the observers feel that all of this was possibly engineered by Ashok Gehlot, because how then will his supporters rebel? Why did they not turn up for a CLP meeting which was recommended by Ashok Gehlot himself as a Chief Minister? Why is it that they go and give their resignations at a time there was no need to give those resignations? And that is why they are miffed with Mr. Ashok Gehlot, and that is one of the recommendations which are being given to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. But apart from the observers, many senior leaders we spoke to say that they don't think it's a good idea that Ashok Gehlot should file his nomination papers. At least that's the message that they are trying to convey to him. But of course, no one can be stopped physically. I think the fact that Gandhis tried to send out the message that they have no favorites, that they are not approving or disapproving of any candidate, and just about anybody can go and file the nomination papers. Mr. Ashok Gehlot, should he decide to go ahead and file those papers, cannot be stopped physically. But what can certainly happen is a kind of a whisper campaign against him. Remember, there are 9,000 delegates who have to vote for you, who will actually decide who becomes the party president. In case of a whisper campaign, in case of a perception which goes across that Ashok Gehlot is not the flavor of the season, he doesn't have the backing of the top leadership, the going gets tough for Gehlot. So I think it's going to be a full-on confrontation either which way, and a solution which is being worked upon can actually throw up more and more problems rather than solving it completely.
Pallavi, I'll just request you to stay on with us. Let me bring in Siddhant in the conversation as well. Siddhant, look how things have changed so quickly. From being seen as a close aide of the Gandhis, as a front runner for this top job, and now the observers possibly feeling that this will not work well as far as the party is concerned. First, I want to understand what is the activity that you're seeing around here 10 Janpath. Are the observers still meeting Sonia Gandhi?
Well, sources are telling us that the meeting has already started. Okay. The meeting is going to be about the current situation in Rajasthan, and the work which was given to these 2 observers, Mr. Kharge and Mr. Makhan. They are expected to submit a report to Sonia Gandhi. The details have already been accessed by Pallavi. Report mainly highlights this very fact that the behavior of MLAs attract disciplinary action. And as these two observers were sent by Sonia Gandhi to have one-to-one talks with the MLAs did not listen to them. Instead, they went to CP Joshi and submitted their resignation. Also, these two observers are going to carry the message of the MLAs of Gehlot camp in Rajasthan, and that will also be conveyed to Sonia Gandhi. But cracks are clear within the Congress party. On one end, where Rahul Gandhi is carrying out yatra, talking about uniting, and the theme of the yatra is uniting, but unity. But his own party is not united, especially at this point in time. The differences between Gehlot and Sachin Pilot are very much in public domain. The differences between Gehlot and Ajay Makan are also very much visible.
Considering
as
the
Mr.
fact
Makan
that he
did
refused
not
to meet
Ashok Gehlot before leaving. Yeah.
Those are crucial points that you're making, Siddhant, and we'll just touch on that in just a bit, that what is the messaging that is being sent out. You're actually giving enough fodder and ammunition on a plate to the BJP when you talk about the Bharat Jodo Yatra and you can't keep your own house or party in control. But Pallavi, I want to talk to you first as far as this entire process of the election is concerned. You know, the Congress had been hitting out at the BJP saying that for all you say, you don't even have a democratic process. Look at us, we're at least giving a fair opportunity to everyone. But that is now going to fall flat, considering the fact all of this is now looking like a sham.
Oh yes, absolutely. You're absolutely bang on, at least in terms of perception. And we are no one to say it, but politics is all about perception. In terms of perception, certainly it looks like a bit of a sham. Now, you just look at the sequence of events. You know, Mrs. Gandhi tells almost every senior Congress leader she met, and even Mr. Ashok Gehlot, that I have no favorites. I'm neutral. I'm just going to come and cast my vote. I don't approve or disapprove of anyone, and people can come and file the nominations. People can vote the way they want to. Now, when you are sending out this message that, you know, we are not in favor of Ashok Gehlot filing in his nomination papers, in a sense you're controlling the process. So was it really democratic? That's the question which is rising. If you are going to run a whisper campaign where you convey to the delegates that we don't think that Ashok Gehlot should be allowed to become the president of the party because he has let us down, because the president has to think of the party ahead of himself or herself. And also the fact is that if a presidential election is actually throwing up a lack of unity in one particular state, imagine what can happen at the central level or at a pan-India level. These are the points which makes it very, very clear that the election was really not much of a real election. I'm sure within a day or two, you're going to start hearing those noises who will put pressure on Rahul Gandhi that look what happens when a non-Gandhi thinks of becoming the party president. So it's best you take back your decision and file your nomination papers. That's also an eventuality which is still being worked upon. We already have one or two leaders saying that perhaps Priyanka Gandhi Vadra should become the party president, or in other words, it's only the Gandhis who can be the glue who can keep the party together. Obviously, the Congress now becomes vulnerable, and vindication of those allegations coming in from the political opponents like the BJP, that it was never really much of an election from the start.
Absolutely. I'll just request my colleagues, both Pallavi and Siddhant, to just stay on with us. I just want to give our viewers an overview of what really has happened. This is just confusion galore, a lot of parallels being drawn to what we saw play out in Punjab as well. But let's break down all these details in terms of what we know so far and what we can also expect in the days to come. Now, what was the High Command's message? One man, one seat formula should be upheld by all. A lot of questions now being raised that was there a sense of miscalculation, that you thought that if Gehlot becomes the party president, then you can placate Sachin Pilot by making him the chief minister. But how did you expect Ashok Gehlot and his supporters to be okay with that? All these questions being raised. Then Ashok Gehlot's camp rebellion, the question that is now being raised is this the rebellion which has costed him the top job? Not in favor of Pilot's name as chief minister, wanted one of Gehlot's loyalists to take over that position. Now we do know that Ashok Gehlot possibly is not even in the running as far as this top job is concerned. The High Command's message to the observers was the observers should have a one-on-one meeting with the MLAs. Gehlot camp's rebellion is more than 90 MLAs refused to meet the central leaders. Many now raising questions that was all of this actually orchestrated by Ashok Gehlot himself. What was the High Command's message? That there should be no conflict of interest on deciding the next chief minister, because the idea that they at least optically want to put out is that we're all in it together and whoever takes over the top job is actually working for the favor of the party. As far as rebellion by Ashok Gehlot is concerned, adamant that meeting on Chief Minister phase should be after the Congress presidential polls, which is actually the 19th, that is the date. Let me continue the conversation with my colleagues Pallavi and Siddharth. Siddharth, as you were rightly pointing out, the timing couldn't have been worse for the party and the top leadership as well. On one hand, you have Rahul Gandhi and other leaders taking on this Bharat Jodo Yatra, saying that we are the only alternative to the BJP, but the BJP saying all that is fine. We'll talk about 2024 when we reach there. What about trying to keep your own house in order?
Well, that's correct, absolutely. To which Congress has to say that we are a decisive democracy. We are not a dictatorial democracy. At the same time, leaders like Sandeep Dixit told me this morning that the same BJP, I mean, this is what he said, he told me, that the same BJP used to talk about internal democracy in a party when they were in opposition. When there was a delay in the announcement of Prime Minister Modi's name in the run-up to 2014 election. At that time, BJP used to talk about internal democracy in party. So now, since they are in power, they are, they are saying that our house is not in order. They are raising questions on Rahul Gandhi's leadership. Also, I would like to add on to what Pallavi has said about Mr. Ashok Gehlot. So till yesterday, day before yesterday, Ashok Gehlot was the favorite contender for Congress president's post. Now, suddenly, after this episode, with the developments which unfolded in last 24 hours, he has surely become one unpopular leader for the as a contender for the post of Congress president. Because I was a short while back, I was at AICC and I did meet some of the office bearers of the Congress party. Now they are telling me that in these times when Rahul Gandhi is trying his best to unite the country and the party, Ashok Gehlot has ditched the Gandhi. Ashok Gehlot has ditched the democratic process of the party, and this is perhaps the reason that some of the office bearers, those who were inclined towards Ashok Gehlot and in fact had made up their mind to vote in favor of Ashok Gehlot, have started thinking now whether to give him the vote if he contests or not. So, so
that's
he
exactly
may have
what I was pointing out earlier, that
MLAs,
what has really led to this change of position, because he was being seen as a front runner and somebody who's close to the Gandhis. But I'll just request my colleagues to stay on with us. Let's also listen in to Ashok Gehlot and his many stands that possibly may have irked the top leadership and the Gandhis.
जो जिम्मेदारी है तो वो निभाएंगे, चाहे राजस्थान की हो चाहे यहाँ की हो. चुनाव है तो ओपन है सबके लिए. यहाँ कोई दो पद, एक व्यक्ति दो पद लागू नहीं होता फॉर्मूला यहाँ पर. सब दिल से चाहते हैं कि राहुल गांधी कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष बने, इसलिए हम रिक्वेस्ट करना है अंतिम तौर से, क्योंकि फिर प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी. तो हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आप आके फॉर्म भरें और अध्यक्ष का चुनाव यहाँ बताएं. कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट जो होता है, बनता है, वो जस्टिफाई भी कर पाता है अगर वो पूरे मुल्क में उसको काम करना है. मेरा बस चले तो 40 साल लगातार मैं पदों पे रहा, ज़्यादा हो गया. अब मैं बिना पद भी, चाहे वो राहुल गांधी यात्रा हो, चाहे वो दूसरे हालात हैं, तो मेरा संदेश है प्रेम का, भाईचारे का, मोहब्बत का, विश्वास का, सद्भावना माहौल बना रहे.
Okay, our colleagues continue to be with us. Pallavi, I want to understand something from you. What are sources within the party telling you? Did they not see this rebellion coming in as far as the Ashok Gehlot camp is concerned? Because many within the Sachin Pilot camp also were possibly seeing a rebellion like this. What was the calculation that the top leadership was working with?
Well, I agree with you, Ridhima. This has been a complete, if I can use that word, intelligence failure as far as the top Congress leadership is concerned. I mean, if you look at the sequence of events, it is very, very clear that Ashok Gehlot did not want to give up the CM post. He actually at one point of time felt that both of them could be retained, and with that soundbite which we played out a short while back bears testimony to that when he says he is pay one man, one post wala principle lagu nahi hota. It's only when this question was asked of Rahul Gandhi in Kochi, where incidentally Ashok Gehlot also happened to be there, Rahul Gandhi made it very clear that, I think the Udaipur resolution must be followed. And that's when Mr. Gehlot said, yes, he's ready to give up the job of the CM. And that's where I think the planning and the strategy began. If you believe what the observers say, and they said this on record, a CLP meeting was called last minute only because Mr. Ashok Gehlot, as the Chief Minister, wanted that. What does it mean when you call a CLP meeting? It essentially means that you want to have a new Chief Minister, because then the MLAs decide. Also, if you remember, this is something which we had reported earlier, when Mr. Gehlot came out of a meeting with Sonia Gandhi, the word which came out was that he had conveyed to her that let the MLAs decide, knowing fully well that most of the MLAs were considered to be Gehlot loyalists, and they would not want Sachin Pilot to become the Chief Minister, either Gehlot or someone who is a Gehlot supporter or supported by Ashok Gehlot as well. Now, in this backdrop, and it would have made sense for the top Congress leadership to understand that if Mr. Ashok Gehlot has recommended a calling of the CLT meeting, if that meeting is getting postponed, very, very clearly something was going horribly wrong. In that sense, I think the Gandhis were played into, and that is the reason why they're believed to be extremely upset. They also understand the peril of, say, an Ashok Gehlot actually emerging as a party president, because the job of a party president would be to ensure that the party remains together. The feeling that they have, this is something which were told to us by way of our sources,
sure,
and which is also going to be conveyed by the observers to Mrs. Gandhi, is that can we afford to have a person like him as a party president whose tenure begins on the back note of a split within the party or a division in Rajasthan Congress?
Correct. I'll just request my colleagues to stay on with us. We again want to now bring out what are the possible scenarios that could play out and what are the challenges or the conundrums as far as the Gandhis and the top leadership is concerned. Let's break down all those details of what we know so far. Now, as far as the conundrum for Sonia Gandhi and the top leadership, as far as the presidential race is concerned, revolt by Ashok Gehlot camp leaves ties sour. And this is exactly what I was discussing with my colleagues earlier. He was actually seen to be somebody close to the Gandhis. So what has now changed? Did they actually not see this rebellion coming? If not, then that is actually a big intelligence failure, as Pallavi was rightly pointing out. Cloud over Ashok Gehlot's candidature now, as Pallavi is breaking these details for us. He in fact is out as far as his race for the party's president is concerned. Congress's national leadership crisis continues. As I said, a lot of parallels being drawn to what we saw play out in Punjab as well, that if this infighting continues, this will continue to cost the Congress, which is only left in 2 states across India today. As far as specifically the Rajasthan tussle is concerned, this is not new. Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, we've seen this play out for months together. The opposition to Pilot due to his 2020 revolt. So what was the calculation? Were you thinking that if Ashok Gehlot becomes the party president, he'll be okay giving up the chief ministerial position? Majority Congress MLAs against Pilot at help, and that is why this entire rebellion that we saw in this late night drama that played out, many are saying that this was actually orchestrated by Ashok Gehlot himself. Instability in the run-up to 2023 assembly polls. What does this mean? Not just for the state of Rajasthan, but as far as the national picture also is concerned. Rajasthan one among the 2 states, exactly what I was pointing out. You're only left in 2 states. You've already lost Punjab. A party like Aam Aadmi Party is making headway in other states as well. So what does it then mean as far as the future of the Congress party is concerned? And then of course you do have the 2024 elections as well. If you want to take on an aggressive machinery like the BJP, is this the only way that you'll survive? After Punjab and Goa, as I pointed out, Rajasthan, can that become the next Punjab? Overshadows the Bharat Jodo and 2024 campaign. As I was discussing with my colleagues earlier as well, the timing couldn't have been worse. At a time when you want to show this picture that everybody wants to join you to take on the BJP, but what about your own house? Let me continue the conversation with my colleagues Pallavi and Siddhant. Siddhant is at 10 Janpath here in the national capital, and Pallavi has been tracking all these developments for us in terms of what we could see play out in the days to come. Siddhant, let me come to you first. Any activity that you're seeing around you, could you talk to us about who all are currently present at 10 Janpath?
Well, only 3 of the senior Congress party leaders are present inside, 2 of the observers. Ajay Makan and Mallikarjun Kharge. Along with these two, Mr. K.C. Venugopal is also at 10 Janpad. Now the meeting is currently underway. It started at around 4:50. This is what we have been told, and is currently underway. These two observers appear disappointed after what has happened in Jaipur, and in fact Ajay Makan did not meet Ashok Gehlot before leaving for Delhi. Going by the details that have been accessed by Pallavi, Mr. Makan and Kharge they both have recommended disciplinary action on the MLAs, those who went to CP Joshi's residence and submitted their resignation. So it is surely a tough spot for Sonia Gandhi, and tough times for the Congress party, because nothing of this sort has ever taken before in the Congress party. Till day before yesterday, Ashok Gehlot was the top contender for the post of Congress president. He was being backed by the Gandhi family. He was being backed by the cadre. But suddenly, last 24 hours, his faction submitted resignation. There is a drama which unfolded in Rajasthan. Now Ashok Gehlot supporters within the Congress party are telling me that Ashok Gehlot is ready to step down. It is just that he wants to pass the process first, clear the elections first. So once he will become the Congress president, then he will step down. Or else people close to him tell me that that he suspect this could be a strategy also, internal coup to put him away from the chief minister's post. And this is the reason that he is being pressurized to resign before the election. So this is what people close to Ashok Gehlot are telling me, that this all is being done, this all drama is being done because Ashok Gehlot wants to be on the seat of the chief minister and contest election, and post that he may resign. But what if he doesn't win the election? Then he will lose the chief minister's post also. So this is what is in Ashok Gehlot's mind, and being a seasoned politician, he knows what political step needs to be taken to protect his chief minister's post. Back to you.
Pallavi, quickly I want to come back to you. Two things that I want to understand as far as one, Shashi Tharoor is concerned. What are you picking up as far as how confident is he of him getting this top post, and any other names that you're now picking up? Because if Ashok Gehlot is out, who else?
Well, that's a multi-dollar question really, but to answer your first question first, Shashi Tharoor is pretty confident. Now 70% is what he's claiming of the delegates are going to vote for him. He's going to be filing his nomination papers on 30th. He's already collected those 5 nomination papers already, which means he's looking at some support coming in from states other than Kerala. What you require technically is an endorsement by 10 delegates for your nomination paper to be accepted, which perhaps is the thinking, which is why he's picked up those 5 forms, because he thinks that he can get that support from beyond Kerala. That's as far as Shashi Tharoor goes. Well, I mean, even if Ashok Gehlot files in his nomination papers for argument's sake, and the Congress leadership would not be very happy and comfortable with that, there's just about anybody can actually file the nomination papers. To my mind, many names start coming up. Digvijay Singh, Mukul Vasnik, Anand Sharma and Mallikarjun Kharge. These are the names which may start coming up as even Kamal Nath for that matter, who could file the nomination papers. At the end of the day, elections are always going to be about perception. I know the Gandhis are trying to send out that message that it's neutral, it's open-ended, people can vote according to their own wish, but it's also a matter of perception. In the case of Tharoor versus Gehlot, the perception very clearly was that Gehlot has the backing of the top leadership. They trust him, and therefore he was seen as a Gandhi loyalist, and that could have swung the result in his favor. They may try to build up a similar perception about any other names as well, and there I think by 30th, after 3 o'clock, we'll get a clarity really, Ridhima, on who are the people who are going to be contesting the presidential elections.
Okay, Pallavi and Siddhant, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Many twists and turns, I still believe, are left as far as the saga is concerned. We'll keep tracking those developments. Time for us to slip into a very short break, but before we do that, do not forget to vote for your favorite artist, the one you feel deserves to be Indian of the Year for entertainment. All you need to do is log on to indianoftheyear.com and cast your vote. The nominees on your screens.
Particularly on the BJP RSS leaders and also officials of the government agencies. Also, sources within the intelligence agencies have revealed to us that the Popular Front of India plans lone wolf attacks against these identified targets. So this is the big breaking that we are putting out before you. PFI's further plans to actually take out and carry out targeted attacks in the country. This is something that has happened after the nationwide raids on members of the PFI. The Popular Front of India is now going to go ahead with further attacks, is what your channel has been told. In fact, we're also learning that these attacks are particularly planned on BJP and RSS leaders and also officials of the government agencies. All these sources within the intelligence agencies are revealing to CNN News 18 that the Popular Front of India is planning lone wolf attacks. Now, this could be fedayeen attacks that they are talking about. We are yet to learn the details about it. We would get our colleagues to join us in just about a minute, and we will tell you further about this big breaking news that we are putting out for our viewers on CNN News 18, as there are plans by the Popular Front of India to unleash violence, and this has happened just days after those raids on PFI leaders and members across the country. Remember, across 13 states in the country, these raids were conducted. Over 108 leaders and Popular Front of India members were arrested after those raids, and of course there was ample resistance that was seen across the country for the same. My colleague Anand Narsimhan, who's breaking that massive input for us, is joining us on the broadcast. Anand, big development on CNN News 18. Just tell us more.
Namaste, and yes, Griha, and to all our viewers, we've been at the forefront of bringing to you the entire DNA of this construct that is the PFI, its various angles and aspects, and how they were actually working to try and subvert the system, change the DNA of Bharat itself. That was what was embedded within the machinations of the PFI. Now what is happening is this crackdown which happened on Thursday, the comprehensive crackdown, has not gone down well. What they want to do is revenge. They want to try and not just stoke unrest across the length and breadth of the country, create instances of social unrest, and of course unleash rioting on the streets, but they also want to target specifically some people who they believe are the reason why the PFI finds itself cracked down upon. Now let's quickly try and break down for you how they want to approach this and what they want to do. This instance of the response or hitting back at some PFI workers who are forcibly trying to shut down shops is just one instant where a scattered leadership now is wanting to organize, and let's try and understand how they want to hit back. Now, what they want to do is that they want to target, this is a sinister plot that we have unearthed to disturb peace and tranquility. They want to create a huge amount of social unrest on ground. The plan is to retaliate very, very violently against the government, leadership, and of course the various arms of the government, which is cracking down comprehensively on the PFI and its various frontal organizations. The government agencies and Hindu leaders are on PFI radar. Largely RSS, BJP, VHP leaders are on the radar. PFI planning lone wolf attacks against the identified targets. So they've got this concept of bayatis, these bayatis who owe their allegiance to the Amir, and they turn around and they have only two jobs to do: kill or get killed. So the concept of a fedayeen extension, that's what they're trying to do. They want to create communal tensions by targeting the RSS, deliberately stoke fights between communities, and create a ripple effect and try and say, you come after us, we'll come after you, and we will come back and go after you. So this is the entire pushback plot. Not just pushback, but they want to create communal tensions by targeting the RSS. This is how they have very clearly in the past also tried to say that the bane of the or the core of their entire existence is to uproot the RSS and by default go after Hindus and Hindutva. This has been the PFI motive right from the time they were Simi or they were Indian Mujahideen. Now it has been, like I said, modified, and this is what they want to do. This is the Bayatis pledge. The Bayatis have pledged their allegiance to their Amir. Now, who's their Amir? The Amir is the head of the organization, or who they believe is the one who's going to champion the cause of the PFI. In this case, a lot of the top leadership has been arrested, and some of them are still absconding. The plan is to attack only, plan of attack is known only to the Amir or the chief. He will tell them who to strike. Nobody else knows. So it is all individual. It's not connected. So you catch one of the Bayatis or the Fidains or this lone wolf, he will not or she will not be able to tell you the details about who the others are and where they are and what they're planning to do. There's only one person who knows. No hesitation in killing self or
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. CNN News 18 continues with its focus on the PFI, where we comprehensively highlight the inner workings of the outfit in the wake of the pan-India crackdown. Now, as per sources, the violence in Kerala on Friday seems to have been only a precursor, and the Popular Front is planning more such attacks. Sources also saying PFI workers are now planning lone wolf attacks, particularly on BJP and RSS leaders as well as officials of government agencies. As part of our ongoing investigation, we now reveal to you the modus operandi of the PFI operations as agencies put the lens on the outfit. This is what sources have told CNN News 18. So as far as the lens on these operations are concerned, again, what we are picking up by the means of what top sources are telling CNN News 18. PFI leaders are involved in plots to destabilize the country, to destabilize India. There are links to anti-India elements that can be traced to Pakistan as well as the Middle East. The fund collection operations focused in the Middle East and Pakistan. Pakistan and Dubai serve as hubs for hawala transactions. What we're also understanding, PFI top brass linked to drug nexus from Afghanistan, from the Pakistan region. The outfit is linked to murders of political and religious leaders. Outfit accused of running multiple arms training camps. Ex-members of banned outfits like Simi and Indian Mujahideen also working through. Let me also now bring in our guests to take this discussion forward. We have former DGP Punjab Shashikant. We also have Muslim scholar Masood ul Hassan Kazmi. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Shashikant, let me begin with you first. There are pan-India raids. As far as a revenge plot is concerned, now we are picking details of the sinister plot where the targets are very, very specific. What we saw in Kerala possibly was just the precursor. But the larger question is, should we even be surprised?
Yeah, I'll agree with you, because whatever we saw, what is the ideal course of action in case a person feels that he has not got the justice? Go to the court of law, and the courts of law are always open. There's no problem about that. But to go in for a violent modus operandi, burning buses, or attack one particular segment, maybe RSS or a BJP or Hindu or whatever it is, what it all leads to. I'll tell you, because I've been in the police and intelligence circles for ages now. There were a large number of communally sensitive and hypersensitive pockets in India, which were sort of controlled with a great amount of difficulty. That's why for the last few years, touch wood, things have been comparatively comfortable and easy. Now, whatever is happening, to my mind, it is an attempt to again inflate that particular communal feeling of communal discord or whatever it is. Because once that comes up, like I told you, that traditionally there have been a large number of communally sensitive and hypersensitive pockets. It's about time for the governments, for the police forces, intelligence agencies to be absolutely careful. And you talk about the funds coming in. You might have seen this drills, etc., which had been going on when even your Social Democratic Party was there. They were having all these drills, just like on the pattern of certain other militant organizations. And you talked about drugs. All over the world, for any nefarious activity, the easiest thing is drug money, whether it is creating any kind of problem, because these things, hawala is coming, this thing is coming, but the easiest money is drug money. All over the world, you can get anything, and once you have this money, then the darknet is there. You can get anything on the darknet. So yeah, situation, I'll say, is causes concern. I'm concerned as an ex-police officer and intelligence officer. I'm very much concerned about it. Thank you.
Okay. Maulana ji, I agree with the point that Shashikant is making. Is violence any sort of an acceptable form just because raids have been conducted? If you have nothing to hide, why don't you cooperate as far as the investigation is concerned? Maulana Kazmi, can you hear me?
Hello.
मौलाना काज़मी, कैन यू हियर मी? आपको
हेलो।
आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
जी हेलो हेलो, बोलिए बोलिए
जी जी,
बोलिए।
मैं
आवाज
आपसे
आ रही है,
जी
बोलिए।
जी जी मैं आपसे पूछ रही थी, शशिकांत जो पॉइंट बना रहे हैं उससे मैं सहमत हूँ कि अगर आपके पास कुछ छुपाने के लिए नहीं है तो आप इन्वेस्टिगेशन के साथ कोऑपरेट करिए। वायलेंस किस तरह का आंसर होता है?
No, no, the point is that violence is no solution for anything. Violence, people must not take law and order into their own hands. If PFI people are being questioned and they are under cloud, they should come out. If they think that they are innocent people, so they should cooperate. They should not take law and order into their own hands. But larger point I am talking about is that in today in our country, the polarization, communalism, and the religiously based violence are growing, and this is the matter of concern for our country. Fanatism among all the communities is growing. In Hindu communities, in Muslim communities, one community's fanatism breeds another community's fanatism. So point is that people of like the PFI people, they should also be locked up. They need to be locked up, but also the fanatics of some Hindutva communities also need to be locked up, because when we see certain se juda slogans, we condemn that and we say such type of people should be crushed. But when we see ye काटे जाएंगे, राम राम चिल्लाएंगे, nobody come out from their community to condemn them. When we see Dharam Sansad,
बट मौलाना जी,
people
ये
from
किस
Dharam
तरह का
Sansad
एक्सप्लेनेशन
who
है?
openly-
दो गलत एक सही
who-
थोड़ी बना देते हैं।
जी जी, यही मेरा पॉइंट सिर्फ यही है कि हम अगर वी आर सिंसर, अगर हम संजीदा हैं तो इस देश में ये हिंदू मुस्लिम के नाम पर जो मार काट चल रही है, तो हमें दोनों तरफ के लोगों को और स्पेशली प्राइम मिनिस्टर शुड टेक
नहीं
केयर
नहीं, वो
ऑफ
बात
दिस।
तो आपकी सही है, बट जिस तरह की धमकियां सामने आ रही हैं, जिस तरह के कमेंट्स सामने आ रहे हैं, वो कैसे जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं? जो डिटेल्स हम पिकअप कर रहे हैं कि उनका मॉडस ऑपरेंडाई क्या हो सकता है, स्पेसिफाइड टारगेट्स है, बीजेपी आरएसएस के लीडर्स, गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी के लीडर्स, लोन वुल्फ अटैक्स हो सकते हैं। तो जब वो अटैक कैरी आउट करेंगे, उनके आसपास किसी अगर जान जा रही है, उनको थोड़ी फर्क पड़ेगा।
तो नोबडी डिफेंडिंग देम। हमें हमारा कहना यह है कि चाहे बीजेपी के लोग हों, चाहे आरएसएस के लोग हों, दे आर आल्सो रेस्पेक्टेबल एंड देयर लाइव्स आर आल्सो वेरी मच वैल्यूएबल फॉर एवरी इंडियन, इंक्लूडिंग मुस्लिम, इंक्लूडिंग अस। हम ये कह रहे हैं कि जो लोग भी किसी की भी इंसान की जान लेने खड़ा हो रहा है, उसको पकड़ा जाए, उसके खिलाफ एक्शन लिया जाए। मगर ये क्या है कि when somebody, when court convict the lyncher, a union minister go there and garland them. So इस तरह की जब बातें होती हैं, यूनियन मिनिस्टर जाते हैं, कन्विक्टेड लिंचर्स को हम गार्लैंड कर देते हैं, तो उनको हम बढ़ावा दे रहे होते हैं। जब हम कह देते हैं कि यति नरसिंहा, नो एक्शन विल बी टेकन अगेंस्ट
नहीं मौलाना जी, हम टॉपिक के बारे में आप मुझे बात करिए। आज हम आगे कंडेम क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं कि वायलेंस कोई आंसर नहीं है? पैन इंडिया रेड्स हुई है, उन पे क्रैकडाउन हुआ है, क्योंकि क्रैकडाउन हुआ है तो हम वायलेंस पे रिजॉर्ट करेंगे। ऑलरेडी काफी डिस्कशन चल रहा है कि इन आउटफिट्स को बैन कर देना चाहिए या नहीं। आज हम सबको एक आवाज में बात करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए थ्रेट बनता जा रहा है।
नहीं, आप बताइए किस मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी ने पीएफआई को सपोर्ट किया है? पीएफआई, दे आर द हैंडफुल पीपल, ओनली द सम पीपल, they have no at large their acceptance within the Muslim community, except some part of Kerala and some part of Karnataka only. They have no representative in northern India.
Okay.
Some few, 1 and 2, as you can find out only. 1 और 2 से कुछ वो नहीं होता है। इन लोगों को they have no acceptance, they have no popularity within Muslim community.
Okay.
That is why they don't have their legislator in parliament. They have no their legislator in assembly.
Maulana ji, I just request you to
So
stay
they
on
are
with us, because we're
rejected
actually
people.
getting some other very crucial details also now coming in. And this is as far as the criminal records or whereas PFI leaders are concerned. Again, what we're picking up by the means of what top sources are telling CNN News 18. Look at the details that we're putting out. Abdul Rahman, PFI National Chairman, ex-SIMI National Secretary as well. What are the accusations? Accused of running funding nexus in the Middle East. As I pointed out earlier, traces being linked to both Pakistan as well as the Middle East. Accused of, I said, funding nexus as far as the Middle East is concerned. But he's not the only one. We're picking out some other details as well. Look at the other person that we're putting out. Abdul Hamid, PFI State Secretary, again, ex-SIMI State Secretary. What are the accusations against as far as Abdul is concerned? Let's break down those details as well. Accused of planning attacks on political and religious outfits. Again, the details that we're putting out this time around as well, that the targets are very, very specific. They could be from the RSS, the BJP or government agencies as well. Once again, accused of establishing arms training camps as well. Then, Mohammad Shakib, PFI National Executive Member, accused of masterminding Hawala operations and various transactions. Other accusations against him and the links that are also now coming to light, linked to Pak terror groups to fund these sleeper cells, which continue to be a big challenge as far as our officials on the ground are concerned. Then, Abu Bakr, ex-PFI chairman, accused of spearheading propaganda operations. What we are also now understanding, he has links to absconding preacher Zakir Naik's nexus as well, linked to underworld elements again, once again, Middle East. As I said, nothing new here. You are seeing the working of the sleeper cells. You are seeing these links as far as the funding nexus is concerned. Our guests continue to be with us. Shashikant, look at the kind of details that we are putting out. Once again, the entire debate on what is causing the delay as far as banning an outfit like the PFI is concerned. Is the concern that it could take shape in some other form?
Look, let me tell you very clearly. You narrated all these things. I'll go back to SIMI. There are so many organizations, but I'll go to SIMI. What was this one of the most important objectives as per their ideology? That was bringing jihad in the country and trying to ensure that India becomes an Islamic country, whatever it is. One. Secondly, to talk about Gulf and all those things, everybody knows, persons who have background of these things, that ISI's two most important hubs are, number one, they are in the Gulf countries, and second, they are our neighboring Nepal. These are the two places which have been creating trouble for us. And coming to the immediate point which Maulana ji was saying, look, the thing started with the immediate this thing that when the Prime Minister had gone to Bihar, there was an attempt not only to disrupt and to create some trouble there. He's the Prime Minister of the country, and he deserves respect, he deserves security, he deserves everything. And then talking about the violence, look, violence is of two types. Number one is sporadic, and the second one is planned. Whatever he has been talking about, certain other organizations trying to take law into their hand, I'll put them in the category of sporadic violence, which had been there, sporadic incidents, which just burst out and happened. But here what we see is entirely a planned thing.
Correct.
Like the links are there, whether it's with Bihar or entire South.
And thus raising the questions, if all this evidence is there, if dossiers are there with the NIA, what's really causing the delay in having a ban on this outfit? Unfortunately, I'll have to leave the conversation there and appreciate both our guests joining us here. We're getting some other updates also now coming in. Now, amid this crackdown on the PFI, you have BJP President JP Nadda, who's hit out at the LDF government. He's gone on to say that Kerala is now becoming a hotspot of terrorism and fringe elements. Also going on to say communal tensions are rising here. Let's listen in.
Kerala is now becoming a hotspot of terrorism. Kerala is becoming an hotspot of fringe elements. Life is not safe. An ordinary citizen is not finding himself to be safe. Communal tensions are mounting, and tacit support of the left-led government to the people who create violence, who support violence, who believe in violence. The support by the state government is something which is very, very serious and which we have to understand. The state-sponsored lawlessness is also one of the reasons that we have to fight it out.
Let me also now bring in my colleague Neetu. Neetu, two things that I want to understand. I believe this was made when JP Nadda was addressing the BJP cadre in Kerala. And secondly, has there been a reaction from the state government so far?
See, these were the statements that JP Nadda made while he was speaking to the BJP booth-level workers and district-level workers in Thiruvananthapuram on his visit here. He will now be inaugurating the district office in Saikad. So this is when he has made these harsh comments and even raised up the gold scam also, saying that it has reached the office of the CM and this government is full of corruption. He also went on to raise issues like the appointment of the relative, the universities issue, which the governor had also raised. He went on to say that the relatives of those working in CM's office are getting appointment in universities. So far, there is no reaction that has come in from the CPM. This is just the speech that has happened just right now.
Okay, Neetu, thanks a lot for getting us those details. We'll still await a reaction from the state government. Time for us to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with lots more.
Will have to remain on high alert. In UP, after the initial arrests, in UP arrests are being made from various districts as per information which is coming, which is trickling in, and that's the only way. That's the only way to stop this kind of activity, that you remain on the offensive, you keep on carrying on the raids, catch hold of these people, gather information, and then catch others. That's the only way to handle it. Cooperate with the intelligence agencies, cooperate with ED and IB and NIA and other agencies, and keep on raiding the hideouts of these people. They are known to several people. Information is with NIA also, with the ATS also, and that's the only way to prevent these attacks. And I congratulate CNN IBN for this exclusive report.
Let's now get you more news from across the country. The rupee hit a new all-time low against the dollar, marking the third straight session of record low levels breached, plunging well past 81.5 per dollar. The continuous weakening of the Indian rupee can likely result in a rise in trade deficit and gradual withdrawal of funds by institutional investors. The Vaishno Devi temple is all decorated and is ready to commence 9 days Navratri festival. Welcome gates have also been installed, and this time the Shrine Board is introducing selfie points en route the cave shrine for the pilgrims. Meanwhile, devotees from across the nation have flocked to Katra to offer their prayers.
माता रानी की चरणों की कृपा से हमारा सब काम संपूर्ण हो जाते हैं और सब ये साथी बार बार आते रहते हैं। हम यहाँ पहली बार आए थे, तब 2018 में आए थे, उसके बाद माता रानी ने 10 बार अपने चरणों में बुलाया और जो भी अरदास थी सबकी पूर्ण की है।
फर्स्ट नवरात्रि माता रानी के दिन है, तो हम भी जॉब करते हैं, छुट्टी उट्टी एडजस्ट करके आए हैं और माता रानी हमारी सारी मनोकामनाएं पूरी करती है। हम चाहें सभी भक्तों की माता रानी मनोकामना पूरी करे जो भी कुछ।
Hundreds of devotees gathered at the Durga temple in Varanasi to offer prayers on the first day of Navratri. People chanted hymns as they stood in long queues to provide offerings to the shrine.
मायने है प्रथम कुष्मांडा जी का दर्शन करने हम लोग आ रहे हैं। यहाँ पे प्रथम दिन है तो माई के दरबार में दर्शन करने के लिए आए हैं और हम लोग तो पर डे दर्शन करने वाले हैं। तो नवरात्र है, नवरात्र के दिन तो माई के दरबार में मत्था टेकना ही है, दर्शन करने आना ही है, इसीलिए आए हैं।
Mumbai is all decked up for yet another big festival as Navratri begins today. Devotees throughout the state gathered at the Devi temple in the city to offer their prayers on the first day of the festival. People across the country are engaged in Navratri preparations of all sorts, with no stones left unturned to make their celebration the most unique one. Now, this group in Surat has come up with a rather amusing twist to Garba night, wherein they are practicing to perform on roller skates. Children between the age group of 6 to 15 who have taken part are all geared up and ready for the big day. Durga Puja preparations are on in full swing and people in Assam have begun the celebrations. The festival is a major source of income for the artists who are involved in the idol making and pandal designing business. In fact, this year has brought in a breath of relief for them as COVID had left most of them unemployed due to the restrictions imposed on the celebrations.
बड़ा ठीक है 2 साल लॉकडाउन के लिए हमारा तो ठाकुर का प्रतिमा कारखाना था वो बंद ही था पर है अभी इस साल कोरोना नहीं है हमारा ऑर्डर पत्र अभी ठीक है 2 साल पहले जितना था अभी ठीक ही है
अगला 2 साल से इस साल में अच्छा ही है अगले 2 साल में कोरोना के लिए तो बनाने नहीं सका इसलिए इस साल में थोड़ा ज़्यादा पूजा हो रहा है हम लोग का 24-25 हो गया ऑर्डर.
The Odisha government organized their 29th annual powerlifting championship in the city. Many players from the state have qualified to the national level of this championship. The authorities are very happy with the performance of their athletes and the success of the event at large.
This is our 29th state powerlifting championship. Actually in powerlifting, Odisha is a power in India and we have got many international Asia champions, strong women in Asia, strong men in Asia. So this is the only game where Odisha is dominating Indian scenario in powerlifting and achieving international medals regularly.
Shah Rukh Khan's latest post on Instagram has led to quite a frenzy among netizens, setting the
22 weeks of unparalleled domination. India's indisputable #1.
CNN News 18, on your side.
After a collection of 11 crores in one single day, director Ayan Mukherjee has announced that tickets for the movie will be sold at 100 rupees till the 29th of this month. Also, actor Rakhi Sawant, in her recent social media post, has said that she will be contesting the upcoming Lok Sabha elections in 2024. This has come in as a response to veteran actor and Member of Parliament Hema Malini suggesting Sawant to contest in the polls. The actor has thanked Hema Malini for considering her. We're starting with this big breaking at noon. A CNN News 18 has been revealed PFI's plans to unleash violence days after there were mega raids that were conducted on the outfit. In fact, the violence in Kerala on Friday seems to have been a precursor, and the Popular Front of India is now planning more attacks in the country. In fact, these would be targeted attacks, particularly on the BJP RSS leaders and also officials of the government agencies. Also, sources within the intelligence agencies have revealed to us that the Popular Front of India plans lone wolf attacks against these identified targets. So this is the big breaking that we are putting out before you. PFI's further plans to actually take out and carry out targeted attacks in the country. This is something that has happened after the nationwide raids on members of the PFI. The Popular Front of India is now going to go ahead with further attacks, is what your channel has been told. In fact, we're also learning that these attacks are particularly planned on BJP and RSS leaders and also officials of the government agencies. All these sources within the intelligence agencies are revealing to CNN News 18 that the Popular Front of India is planning lone wolf attacks. Now, this could be Fidayeen attacks that they are talking about. We are yet to learn the details about it. We would get our colleagues to join us in just about a minute, and we will tell you further about this big breaking news that we are putting out for our viewers on CNN News 18, as there are plans by the Popular Front of India to unleash violence, and this has happened just days after those raids on PFI leaders and members across the country. Remember, across 13 states in the country, these raids were conducted. Over 108 leaders and Popular Front of India members were arrested after those raids, and of course there was ample resistance that was seen across the country for the same. My colleague Anand Narsimhan, who's breaking that massive input for us, is joining us on the broadcast. Anand, big development on CNN News 18. Just tell us more.
Namaste, and yes, Griha, and to all our viewers, we've been at the forefront of bringing to you the entire DNA of this construct that is the PFI, its various angles and aspects, and how they were actually working to try and subvert the system, change the DNA of Bharat itself. That was what was embedded within the machinations of the PFI. Now what is happening is this crackdown which happened on Thursday, the comprehensive crackdown, has not gone down well. What they want to do is revenge. They want to try and not just stoke unrest across the length and breadth of the country, create instances of social unrest, and of course unleash rioting on the streets, but they also want to target specifically some people who they believe are the reason why the PFI finds itself cracked down upon. Now let's quickly try and break down for you how they want to approach this and what they want to do. This instance of the response or hitting back at some PFI workers who are forcibly trying to shut down shops is just one instant where a scattered leadership now is wanting to organize, and let's try and understand how they want to hit back. Now, what they want to do is that they want to target, this is a sinister plot that we have unearthed to disturb peace and tranquility. They want to create a huge amount of social unrest on ground. The plan is to retaliate very, very violently against the government, leadership, and of course the various arms of the government which is cracking down comprehensively.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot for staying with us. Some breaking inputs now coming in. We're now understanding 45 YouTube videos from 10 channels. They've been blocked by the INB ministry, and we're also understanding they've been blocked for spreading misinformation, hate speech and communal hatred. My colleague Pallavi Ghosh joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, do we have the names of these channels that have been blocked?
So there are those 10 YouTube channels. They're specifically channels dedicated to YouTube, which are regional channels as well. They have been blocked. There are 45 videos of this. Essentially, what the ministry says is, Ridhima, that these were the channels which were spreading fake news as far as the Agnipath policy is concerned, national security, harming national security, and also factors of the armed forces, and therefore they have been pulled off. This is a part of a long process. Over time, we have been seeing the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, kind of monitors YouTube channels because they feel that this is something which spreads very rapidly and can be open to misuse. And many of them have their origin, say, in Pakistan as well. And that's the reason why the INB ministry says they cannot afford to waste time. And today, of course, is the latest development.
Pallavi, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. Shifting our focus then, after Karnataka, the hijab controversy has now reached Kerala. The Muslim Youth League, Muslim Students Federation and Students Islamic Organization workers protested and clashed with police demanding action against a Kozhikode school which did not allow students to wear the headscarf. 3 police officers were also injured while trying to restrain the protesters. 16 protesters have been arrested. A student in the 11th grade was informed by the school authorities that she can't wear a headscarf because it was not part of the school uniform. The student's parents then filed a complaint with the education department, but when no action was taken, she had to take a transfer certificate. My colleague Neetu is now back with us on the broadcast. Neetu, could you give our viewers an overview of what really played out in Kerala today?
See, this was an incident at Providence School in Kozhikode where two student organizations, the SIO, which is the student wing of the Jamaat Islami, and MSF, which is the student wing of the Indian Union Muslim League, have taken out a protest march. The clash between the police and the SIO protesters had happened, in which about 16 protesters have been arrested, including 2 women. Now, what the issue was that this plus one admissions are happening at the moment, and this is a government-aided school. So when a girl took admission there, she was told that she cannot wear her headscarf. She asked the school for permission and was denied, and she, along with the parents, had taken a decision and they took a transfer certificate from the school. It was when this incident came to light that these protests had happened. And what the protesters want is that the education department to step in, because this is a government-aided school. They say that in all the government schools, it's permitted to wear the headscarf of the same color of the uniform. So in the aided school also, it should be allowed. So this was the protest which had happened in Kozhikode.
Okay, Neetu, but I also want to understand, as you were pointing out, a student in the 11th grade was informed by the school authorities that she can't wear a headscarf. Was this the first time that a demand like this by a student was being made?
See, what we know from the school authorities is that in this school, the uniform was such that and they were, the other students were not wearing headscarf or any other kind. They adhered to the uniform. And when this was a student who came in for an 11th standard admission, so this was a student which was not there. She had come in for the admission, so that time she had made the request and the request was denied.
Okay. And as far as these protests were concerned, do we understand the number of people who have been arrested and those possibly injured as well?
See, the clashes between the police and SIO protesters were there, and in that 16 people were arrested. The protesters were arrested, including 2 women. That is what the police have told us.
Okay. Neetu, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. We're now shifting our focus back as far as the Rajasthan political drama and turmoil is concerned, where, as we pointed out, the tussle just doesn't seem to be ending. Sources are now telling CNN News 18 that Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, in fact, is no longer in the race for the Congress president's top post, as the party's top leadership is now not very keen on him actually filing his nomination. Now, as per sources, observers Ajay Makhan as well as Mallikarjun Kharge have now recommended that Ashok Gehlot should not be considered for the top post, as they don't think he can actually keep the party together. Both Makhan and Mallikarjun Kharge are at 10 Janpat meeting Sonia Gandhi. Earlier today, Chief Minister Gehlot held a meeting with senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge. 76 MLAs from the Gehlot camp have reportedly submitted their resignation. This was as a mark of protest over the possibility of Sachin Pilot being made the next Chief Minister. Pilot, on the other hand, is in touch with the Gandhis. Let's also now listen in to what Ashok Gehlot and his various stands have been.
जो जिम्मेदारी है तो वो निभाएंगे, चाहे राजस्थान की हो चाहे यहाँ की हो। चुनाव है तो ओपन है सबके लिए। यहाँ कोई 2 पद, एक व्यक्ति 2 पद लागू नहीं होता फॉर्मूला यहाँ पर। सब दिल से चाहते हैं कि राहुल गांधी कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष बने, इसलिए हम रिक्वेस्ट करना है अंतिम तौर से, क्योंकि फिर प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी। तो हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आप आके फॉर्म भरें और अध्यक्ष का चुनाव यहाँ बताएं। कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट जो होता है, बनता है, वो जस्टिफाई भी कर पाता है अगर वो पूरे मुल्क में उसको काम करना है। मेरा बस चले तो 40 साल लगातार मैं पदों पर रहा हूँ, ज़्यादा हो गया। अब मैं बिना पद भी, चाहे वो राहुल गांधी की यात्रा हो, चाहे वो देश के हालात हैं, तो मेरा संदेश है प्रेम का, भाईचारे का, मोहब्बत का, विश्वास का, सद्भावना, माहौल बना रहे।
My colleague Siddhant now joins me live on the broadcast for more on this. Siddhant, we have seen the high drama that has ensued since last night when it comes to the Congress camp, not just in Rajasthan but also in the national capital. Now, we have obviously learnt that Ashok Gehlot might not even be contending for the top post. That entire fiasco that has been brought about because of this very factor is non-existent at the moment.
Well, look, this is what sources are telling our senior colleague that Ashok Gehlot may not contest the election for the post of president, or he may be asked by the Congress top leadership not to contest. But fact here on ground is that even if he contests, he's going to be the unpopular choice for the post of president. So till day before yesterday, he was getting all praises from the senior leadership, from the cadre. Media was talking about him, how he has been loyal to the Congress party, how he has held the top portfolios during Congress, when Congress party was in power, how he is one of the pillars of the Congress party. But suddenly things have changed, and with these developments, the perception within the Congress party has gone against Ashok Gehlot. And this is perhaps the reason that, as I mentioned last time also, that I was at AICC and I did speak to some of the office bearers of the Congress party, and they said that till day before yesterday we were keen to vote for Ashok Gehlot, because we always thought he's a decisive leader, well experienced and deep rooted, and always and also committed to the ideology. But what has happened in last 24 hours had shaken shaken the confidence of the Congress party cadre. And this is perhaps the reason that even if he contests the election, even if he run for the office of the president of the Congress party, he's unlikely to win, because the office bearers, the cadre of the Congress party is upset with Ashok Gehlot, the way things have happened, the way his camp MLAs did not meet Ajay Makan and Mallikarjun Kharge, and instead they went to CP Joshi and submitted their resignation.
Yes.
This very show of strength by Ashok Gehlot has brought a lot of disappointment within the Congress party, within the cadre. And in fact, the sources are also telling us that the senior Congress party leadership is also very upset with Ashok Gehlot, and this is perhaps the reason that today Ajay Makan and Mallikarjun Kharge are meeting Sonia Gandhi. They have submitted the report, and report clearly recommends disciplinary action against the MLAs, those who submitted their resignation yesterday in support of Ashok Gehlot.
Right,
So
Siddhant, we
perception-wise,
also would want to understand, since you are at 10 Janpath, of course, this word is a very, very important thing that's coming out, when it comes to the top brass of the Congress party. However, these 76 MLAs that you were talking about, the disciplinary action that has been called for, or that has been suggested by senior leaders like Mr. Makan and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge after they've returned from Rajasthan, will it not have an impact, considering how these MLAs decided to go rogue just on the account that Sachin Pilot might just be accented to the top job when it comes to Rajasthan? All right, Siddhant, let's quickly cut across to the town hall.
His talent, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. I request you all to please settle down and please keep your mobile phones on silent as we begin the special evening today. Good evening, Chennai. Once again, a very warm welcome to CNN News 18 Town Hall. It's an honor and privilege to have you all here this evening. We are here today to take forward the journey of meaningful conversations. On the stage today, you would hear dynamic exchange of ideas, of leaders coming in from different fields, voices that matter, dialogues that shape the destiny of our thriving nation. That's the idea behind the special initiative of News 18 Network, CNN News 18 Town Hall. I'm Anusha Soni, your host for today evening. After hosting a hugely successful town halls in Delhi and Mumbai, we are here today in Chennai, a city that celebrates its culture and art like no other, while being the beacon of economic and educational growth. The conversations that you shall hear on the stage, as I said today, is the extension of our meaningful journalism. It's an effort to fulfill our key role as a pillar of democracy. Tonight, you would hear from the top politicians, leaders who are actively contributing to India's growth story. You would hear from artists who constantly shape our social and cultural consciousness, and so much more. We're in a dynamic phase today, undergoing critical political and cultural changes. It's an opportunity like no other in the history of modern independent India, which has now completed 75 years of independence. Our country's growth story shall be the dominant theme in today's town hall. Today's gathering is also enriched by the presence of leaders from across sectors, as I said, from the top corps, bureaucrats, corporate leaders in this wonderful gathering. I once again extend a very warm welcome to all of you, and a huge round of applause for all of you for being here, for being the lovely audience. Very briefly, I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Orbit Wires and Cables, Reliance Industries, Appaswamy Real Estate, Sundaram Mutual, Future Generali, and Vedanta Sterlite. To take this forward, I now invite our Managing Editor, Zaka Jacob, to tell you more about the theme of Town Hall and what to expect forward.
Thank you very much, Anusha. Vanakkam, Chennai. நாங்கள் வந்து முதல் தடவையாக இங்கே சென்னையில் we are hosting a town hall. சென்னையில் இருக்கும்போது தமிழ் பேசாமல் இருக்க முடியுமா? So first town hall was in Delhi in June. அதுக்கப்புறம் in Bombay we did one earlier this month. But இன்னைக்கு இங்கே வருகை தந்திருக்கிற audience and we are honored to have Honorable Chief Minister Shri M.K. Stalin. Thank you very much for joining us in today's event. அவர் வந்து கடந்த ஒரு வருட காலமாக முதலமைச்சர் பதவி ஏற்ற அப்புறம் முதல் தடவையா he has come to a media event to CNN News 18 town hall. ரொம்ப நன்றி sir. Thank you so much. The CNN News 18 town hall was started off as a platform for dynamic conversations between politicians, industrialists, film stars, sports persons, so that at the end of the day we distill these conversations, we generate new ideas, so that the India story and the theme for the Chennai town hall, lessons from South in the India story. இப்போ நீங்கள் வந்து தமிழ்நாட்டை எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா on all indicators, health indicators, social indicators, economic indicators, தமிழ்நாடு வந்து it's far advanced, even more than North Indian states. So what are the lessons தமிழ்நாட்டிலிருந்து, what lessons can other states draw? அந்த ஒரு டாபிக் வச்சு we are here for the first Chennai town hall, in fact the first town hall in South India. But before we get to this evening, I have some good news to share with all our esteemed panelists here, our delegates, the audience that has come here, and that is that CNN News 18, your channel, for the last 22 weeks has been #1 on television in the BARC ratings. It is thanks to all your love, your adulation. Thank you so much. We are so humbled by the love that we have received in the last 22 weeks. Also, I would like to report to you, it's not just on TV, on YouTube. இப்போ வந்து எல்லாருமே நியூஸ் வந்து YouTubeல தான் பார்க்குறாங்க, ஃபோனில் தான் பார்க்குறாங்க. So on YouTube, we have crossed 135 million views for the month of September, just the first 20 days of September. We are now the #1 English news streaming channel on YouTube as well. So thank you so much. Rombo nandri. Without your love and your adulation, this would not have been possible. Let me play a small video clip about our journey so far in the last few months.
This is danger at our border.
Lawrence Bishnoi plotted Moosewala's murder.
India's most watched and respected news channel, CNN News 18, believes in investigation, not incitement.
Forceful substance was given to Sonali Fogart.
The most striking primetime lineup in English news television.
News is about stories.
That believes in adding intensity.
Biggest issue that we don't have a concept of nationhood.
When others thrive in infamy.
It has not been about a particular religious community. You don't want to accept the truth, you'll never solve the problem.
India's most sought after newsmakers turn to CNN News 18.
When I get